We've been hearing about Apple's plans to launch a completely portless iPhone for a couple of years now, but I haven't really seen anyone go really deep into explaining all of the reasons why Apple might want to do this and how they'll actually be able to pull it off for a wide range of people without causing a bunch of issues. So in this video, I'm not only going to answer those questions, but I'm going to go in depth with technical explanations on how the different possible solutions will actually transfer data without requiring a port. So with that said, the first thing we've got to do is quickly run through all of the portless iPhone rumors we've had over the years before I blow your mind with some Apple patent filings. Way back in December of 2019, we got our first rumors of a portless iPhone from Ming-Chi Kuo, reporting that we should expect at least one iPhone model in 2021 to have no port at all, which of course didn't happen. And then last year, Kuo cooled off on those rumors, saying that if the iPhone abandons Lightning in the future, it may directly adopt the portless design with MagSafe support instead of a USB-C port. However, he also said that right now, the MagSafe ecosystem is not mature enough, so the iPhone will continue to use the Lightning port for the foreseeable future. Now, I don't know if I agree about that because we did get some rumors of Apple switching to USB-C with their iPhone 14 Pro lineup, but I do agree that Apple will be using the MagSafe puck to make the iPhone go portless. And in just a minute, I'll explain how the technology required for transferring data from a portless iPhone to a computer is gonna work. But first, we gotta go through the reasons for why Apple would want a portless iPhone in the first place. According to Mark Gurman, who spoke to MKBHD on his podcast back in December of 2020, one benefit to going portless is better water resistance, which makes sense because the Lightning port has a bunch of metal contacts inside of it, as well as potential cracks that can allow water to seep through if there's enough water pressure, not to mention salt water, which is the worst danger for the iPhone. So by removing the port, the iPhone should handle water pressure much better. And it may even allow Apple to make the iPhone salt water resistant, just like the Apple Watch already is, especially since we already know that Apple is planning on removing the physical SIM card tray, according to Dylan DKT on Twitter. Now, as for some other reasons, Mark said that removing the port would give Apple more internal iPhone space to work with, which could lead to an even bigger battery, which is always nice. But other than that, it would hands down encourage more people to buy AirPods, since they would no longer have the option of using the Lightning port for wired headphones. And then finally, removing the port would greatly speed up the growth of the MagSafe ecosystem, since everyone will be forced to use it as the only means of charging. And trust me, once you try MagSafe, you'll want to buy more MagSafe accessories, like my all-time favorite MagSafe car vent charger that I love. So with all that said, going portless is a win-win-win situation for Apple on every single front. But now it's time to get into the topic of how Apple will pull off data transfer from the portless iPhone to the MagSafe puck and then down through the USB-C cable into a Mac or a PC. And it all starts with a single patent that Apple filed for back in 2017, showing off a wireless charging system that uses magnets to align a puck that will wirelessly charge another device using inductive charging coils. And if that sounds familiar, it is because it's actually the MagSafe puck that we already have. So believe it or not, Apple filed for this patent back in 2017, and the mind-blowing thing about it is that they originally planned for it to handle data transfers as well. In this patent image, Apple shows an external charging and data puck magnetically attaching to the back of an iPhone, which proves that it's MagSafe. But then there are two optical data transfer modules, one built into the center of the puck and one built into the iPhone, so that data will flow into the puck and down the cable to a computer, like it literally says in this drawing. So it's crazy to think that the MagSafe puck was originally designed with data transfer in mind. And if we take a look at a teardown of the MagSafe puck, there is clearly enough room to put in this so-called optical data transfer module, but Apple obviously held off on this part because it won't be needed until Apple reveals the portless iPhone. But if you're wondering how Apple plans to transfer data using the second-gen MagSafe puck, Apple explains it very clearly in their patent filing. They'll be transferring data by shining light through a puck optical window emitted at various frequencies to send and or receive data to a device such as an iPhone. And if you're wondering what a puck optical window is, it's a special material on the inside of the puck that a user cannot see through at all, but optical signals could still transmit through. And more specifically, they said that this material could be fully transparent to infrared or ultraviolet light while being reflective to regular visual light. And what exactly is that optical window? Well, if you take a look at the MagSafe puck, that thin off-white material is actually what Apple was talking about all along in the patent. You can't see through it, but data can travel through it in the form of infrared or ultraviolet light. So with all that said, the way that the portless iPhone could work with data transfer is that it's going to come with an optical data transfer module inside of it, which will then shine UV or IR light in the form of an optical data signal into a matching module within a second-gen MagSafe puck, which would then send the data to the computer through the USB-C cable at blazing fast speeds. And I know it's going to be blazing fast for sure because back in 2017, researchers at Eindhoven University of Technology achieved a transfer speed of 42.8 gigabits per second using infrared light to transmit data. Yes, that's faster than the 40 gigabit per second Thunderbolt 4 standard that we have today on Apple's Macs and the M1 iPad Pro, which is essentially 80 times faster than the transfer speed of the current Lightning port on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This would essentially mean full iPhone to Mac backups within a couple of minutes, or transferring around 150 gigabytes of ProRes video files in under a minute. Yes, under a minute. But with all that said, I know a lot of you out there are probably skeptical about this technology actually working properly for various different reasons, so now let me go through some of those common concerns. First of all, one potential problem is that the iPhone comes with a painted back underneath the glass, which could mess with the optical data connection. However, infrared light actually passes through paint, and that's why infrared is often used to, quote, see through paint layers that are impenetrable to the human eye. So I ended up looking online for some real-world examples, and I found a forum post on avforums.com where a user buried his Sky Magic Eye IR or infrared receiver into the surface of the wall in his kitchen, and he wanted to paint it so that it didn't stand out. So after 2 layers of paint over the IR receiver, he discovered that it still worked perfectly fine to transmit data to his TV system. And that was way back in 2006. So the paint on the back of the iPhone should not cause any problems for infrared light data transfer. But as for some of the other problems, you unfortunately wouldn't be able to use an iPhone case while transferring data with the MagSafe puck. So you'd have to take it off every single time you want to use it to transfer data. Now this is probably not that big of a deal because AirDrop is by far the most common method to transfer files and photos, but if you're trying to transfer very large files to a Mac or PC using the cable method, you're gonna have to take the case off to use this system. And in my honest opinion, I feel like this could be a realistic option for transferring data through a cable on Apple's future portless iPhone, especially since Apple also created a system for the optical data transfer modules within the iPhone and MagSafe puck to automatically align with each other, just in case it's not perfectly aligned. And if you think all of this is just way too crazy, there are actually a couple more options that Apple could use instead if it turns out that this tech doesn't work as well as Apple originally thought it would. Like, for example, they could pack in a little U1 ultra-wideband chip inside of the MagSafe puck and then have the data converted into a signal that could pass through the other USB-C end. And this would be fairly easy since the iPhone has already packed a U1 chip ever since the iPhone 11. Or another option would be to use the brand new short-range 60.5 GHz wireless data transfer feature that Apple secretly built into the Apple Watch Series 7. So they would just have to build that tech into both the portless iPhone and the MagSafe puck to make it work. And according to a Mac Rumors commenter, this technology would support between 10 and 40 gigabits per second speeds over the 60 gigahertz frequency, so it could easily replace wired connections if it ends up being reliable enough. And the benefit to using this over the whole infrared idea is that you won't have to take your case off at all. So that could actually be a more reasonable choice for Apple since it's more convenient for users. But in either case, we know that Apple has some very promising technology that is able to finally give the iPhone insanely fast 40 gigabits per second transfer speeds through the MagSafe puck. And that right there is what will make users actually want to upgrade to a portless iPhone. I mean, I can easily see Apple walk out on stage and announce this new MagSafe puck charger that supports 40 gigabit per second Thunderbolt transfer speeds from a portless iPhone to a Mac or iPad Pro. And basically everybody who shoots ProRes video will instantly want to upgrade. And then I can see Apple announce that because of it going portless, this is the first phone in the world that is saltwater resistant, and it comes with an even bigger battery. And that right there is how I see Apple introducing the portless iPhone. And if you totally disagree with me, then go ahead and comment your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed this video, click the circle above to subscribe for more videos like this one and check out one of those two right over there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.